up, Logan? How are you today?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can you tell everybody
Absolutely.
your first and last name and tell us the name of the place and where you guys are?
Yeah, my name is Logan Griffin. We are here at Bristol Jiu-Jitsu that is located in Bristol, Virginia, 960 Cumberland Street. We're out here in middle of Appalachia on the
Yeah,
border of
I remember.
Tennessee and Virginia. So Bristol is one town with two different states. So we have a Bristol, Tennessee and a Bristol, Virginia. We are on the Bristol, Virginia side.
What? That's
Yep.
Bristol, Tennessee. I know Bristol, Tennessee. I didn't know there was like a Virginia part. I
Yep.
know that
There's
you're in Bristol, Virginia, and I wasn't putting it together at all. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we're so far away from the like what most people think of Virginia. We're just out down in Appalachia, kind of in the sticks. But yeah, most people are familiar with Bristol, Tennessee, Bristol Motor Speedway. Bristol, Virginia side is not as great as the Tennessee side. Obviously, you got so many things going on, but that's where we are.
I remember you're on the very southwest part. Yeah, right, right.
As southwest as you can get. Yep.
Um, what's the name of the place again? Bristol Jiu-Jitsu, is that right?
Bristol Jiu-Jitsu, yes, sir.
What do you offer there? What do you guys do there? Just talk about like the classes and that kind of thing.
Okay. So our main thing, obviously, is Jiu-Jitsu. We have, I think, almost 18 to 20 Jiu-Jitsu classes a week. We
Okay.
also offer kickboxing, MMA training, and we're starting a youth wrestling club.
Oh,
But
really?
as
A
far
youth
as
wrestling club.
adults go, we're always wrestling. Obviously, our very main priority is jujitsu, like competitive grappling. But then
Mhm.
we've got kickboxing coaches and things. We've just got a great community of very skilled people.
Awesome, man. So are
Mhm.
you going to be implementing jujitsu stuff into the wrestling club and vice versa? I always ask that with
No, not
wrestling and jujitsu.
necessarily.
Yeah, go ahead.
Um, Not necessarily because we're just gonna focus on the wrestling aspect for the
Yeah.
youth. There are some local clubs, but this is like a really good meeting point for a lot of clubs, and we're thankful enough that we met coaches through the jiu-jitsu side, some high level, like well, there's NCAA finalist who's going to help us coach the kids, you know. So
Mhm.
we've got active college athletes that are training jiu-jitsu, but then we just had the idea of like, why not start a youth wrestling club? So
Yeah.
we're only going to focus on jiu-jitsu for the kids, but if they were interested in I would say, did I say jiu-jitsu? We're only going to focus on wrestling for the
Yeah.
kids and the wrestling club. But if they wanted to do jiu-jitsu, obviously there's kids classes for jiu-jitsu as well,
Yeah, yeah. Cool.
vice
Tell
versa.
me, like your overall like philosophy and teaching jujitsu. How you go about it, if you will. How would you explain it?
I mean, if we're gonna nerd out on the way that I teach, definitely like to have my students drill a lot. Um, that's the way I learn. That's the way I have an identical twin brother. We're both black belts. We both made our life in and through jujitsu. Like we quit
Oh,
everything
really?
just to pursue jujitsu. Yeah. Um, So me and him, like, we didn't really learn the easiest. There was always people that were more talented and skilled. So we had to drill a whole lot, like whatever the movement was, we drilled thousands and thousands of times. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like how I teach and how I go over things. Like every night we're doing like knee cuts and top spins, no matter what, we're gonna do that. But as far as like philosophy of like just like my stance on jiu-jitsu and being a teacher, it's
Yeah.
really about forming a community and a culture behind everything. Great jiu-jitsu is awesome, but without a great community, great jiu-jitsu means nothing personally. So
Mhm.
that's kind of where I stand on it.
Yeah, yeah. I would agree from what I know. Yeah, and from
Mhm.
everybody I hear. I mean, you hear culture and community in every single podcast segment. So yeah,
Yeah, it's
I would agree
absolutely
100% because
the
it
most
becomes more
important
than
part
just jujitsu, right?
for sure. Everybody walks in for self-defense, for fitness, for weight loss, get stronger. I want to supplement my bodybuilding with some jujitsu, but everybody sticks for other reasons, right? Oh, my
Yeah.
best friend go to jujitsu. I can't wait to get a mental break at jujitsu. So,
Mhm.
keeping the culture and the community cohesive is without a doubt the most important thing to me, all of my employees, my twin brother who teaches some classes, anybody
Is he
who's
there?
he's not. No, he's actually a financial advisor at Edward Jones, so he's busy, or
What I
he's either
meant is,
busy or
he goes to the same place? I mean, he goes to the same gym and he helps
yeah,
teach
yeah, yeah,
there. Is
yeah,
that what you're
yeah.
saying? Okay.
He's our gi professor.
Got it. Okay. Got
Yeah,
it.
he's the gi
Tell me
guy.
how everything started with you, man. How did you start? I guess
Oh
it's
man,
you and your
so
brother's story. Yeah. And tell
yeah,
me
it
why you
is
guys loved it so much. Yeah.
for sure. So I was a wrestler in middle school and high school, and I saw this sign as I was driving around that said jujitsu back in like 2006 or 2005.
Where did you grow up? You said middle school wrestling. We don't have that here. Is it
Okay.
up north? Did you
No,
grow up
it's
in
we're
Virginia?
right here in Virginia. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
Southwest Virginia.
So
Yeah,
that's
born and
up
raised
north,
here.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, up north for you guys. No, we're
North of us.
Southwest Virginia, Northeast Tennessee. So I was wrestling, and I just wanted more mat time during the summer because I wasn't a good wrestler, and I did
Mm,
not excel like athletically in almost anything until I started to mature a little bit. But so I saw this sign, and I had my mom call, and we called the instructor. Is a local school around here. It's called Absolute Jiu-Jitsu. They're still around,
mm,
and I have the utmost respect towards the instructor. He brought jiu-jitsu to the area. Um, so I had my mom call, and this was before I had a driver's license. The next thing you know, I'm getting dropped off at jiu-jitsu. And I remember the first day I walked in, I was like, I never had any second guesses. Like, oh my God, this is like, I found it. Like I've found what I want to do in my life, but like subconsciously, right? Like, cause that's as soon as I walked through those doors, I could literally not think about anything else in my day. I actually taught my math
really?
teacher jujitsu. Yeah, back in high school. So my math teacher we do these crash courses, 6 weeks crash course. And he was also my like assistant wrestling coach. So he came up to me during math class back in high school and said, Logan, you're going to have to put your jujitsu book up and get your math book out. And so I
Um,
still give him a hard time about how he came to me and like almost kind of embarrassed me in front of the class. And I'm like, hey, Mr. Osborne, it paid off, didn't it? It paid off.
yeah.
Look at me now. You know, that's so weird. It's like the world works in such mysterious ways.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I got into jujitsu. I ended up,
Are you able to put your finger on, why you are so interested in it? Why it intrigued you so much?
and
Have you ever
honestly,
thought of it?
I think it just comes from kind of like my grandfather and my dad were like hard nosed, you know. My grandfather was an entrepreneur from way back,
Hmm.
uh, self made, huge success, and he just did not take no for an answer. So it's like
Yeah.
kind of that hard nosedness about us. I'm a first generation grappler. My dad was watching UFC back in the day, and I can still remember being a little kid running down and watching. I think it was Pride Fighting Championships back in the day, and seeing this guy in a gi fighting a guy who was like shirtless, and I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. If it wasn't for me, if it wasn't motocross and getting greasy in a garage, it was fighting, and that's all I ever thought about.
Mm.
Um, so it's hard for me to like really pinpoint that, but I think it's like hard nosed, and I had like good support system from my mom. Didn't love it, but my dad did, so he was super excited that I was in it. Um, so yeah. Anyways, with
So it's
speed
a
up the
way you
process.
could be hard nosed all the time, if you will, and a
Exactly.
good
It just kind of fit.
environment.
It fit. I was doing something the other kids weren't. I was getting made fun of at school for wearing jujitsu shirts, but now those guys at school, I'm like teaching them now, and it's like the craziest thing ever. Um, but I was doing jujitsu before it was cool. You know, I was doing before
Okay.
like everybody thought it was just stupid and lame and like didn't teach you how to fight type of thing. You know, it's just silly.
Yeah.
So I really leaned into jujitsu because like all of the older guys at jujitsu class were telling me like I'm good. I should keep doing this. And when wrestling season would come up, I would have to take a break from jujitsu, go to wrestle, and immediately like last day of wrestling practice, I would literally come straight over to doing jujitsu and just not stop. Every single day that I could, I was doing jujitsu.
Mm.
Um, Went through college. I tried to wrestle in college, but then I ended up like quitting that team and just going back to jiu-jitsu and had 9 amateur MMA fights through my college career. I had decent success. I was 9-1, but I never really turned pro. So
Why did you
it
quit?
was
Why did you quit in college?
because I love jujitsu. At this point in
That's it.
time, our coach was like really pushing MMA. Like even if you were a talented guy for jujitsu, he was like, "Hey, I got you a fight." And I'm like, Bro, I didn't really sign up for this, but whatever, I'll do it. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna chicken out." But it's not something I ever approached anybody and said, "Hey, I want to be a fighter." Right? It's just
Mm-mm.
maybe like if I was 19, my first fight was 19. I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." But then as I got like a little bit more wiser, I was like, "Hey, I'm not gonna make it to the UFC. I'm not gonna."
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like
Like,
a
what's the point
standout
in
pro.
getting?
I know the reality of this. I'm looking at all these guys like my body is not the same as theirs. Like
Yeah.
their wrestling's way better. And it's funny too because when I talked to this kid who was doing jujitsu, he was a pretty good wrestler too, and he told me that you can't get pinned in jujitsu. You can punch off your back, which he didn't know he was talking about. Um, and you basically like the only way to lose is get submitted. So in my mind, I was like, nobody, nobody can beat me in a fight. All
Yeah.
these dudes can pin me and take me out, but nobody's gonna beat me in a fight. So it was like
Yeah.
ignorance.
Mhm.
And I just like jujitsu a lot. I understood it so much more than I understood wrestling. Wrestling, never really clicked for me, but jujitsu, like, it was just like so much better for I don't know, my brain. Um,
Do you feel like it's more of a puzzle than wrestling? What
yeah,
is the
for
addition
sure, for sure.
there?
In today's time, it's hard to look at that because you got all these big, strong guys who are great at jujitsu, all these phenomenal athletes getting into it. But at this time, I was a high school wrestler, and I had a huge advantage over like all these old men who were doing it. But in
Okay.
wrestling, it's definitely like power, speed, explosiveness. How much can you bench? How much can you squat? But with jujitsu at this point
Right.
in time, you have to think we're looking up to guys like Marcelo Garcia at the time. They're not like juice headed out. They're just really good technicians, and he's preaching lifting weights never helping me 1 inch for jujitsu. So like I was
Mhm.
like, okay, well, I mean, if the greatest of all time is saying that, then I don't need to be the big, strong, explosive, powerful guy that all these wrestlers are. I can be different. I can
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
win and fight. That was like the whole philosophy behind it. It's probably changed nowadays. You got like the big Andre Galvaos and Gordon Ryans and all these just
Yeah.
ripped up, bad looking dudes. But yeah.
No. Yeah.
So
So how
my
did it progress
story,
from there? Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah. So we keep moving on. I wanted to take jujitsu more serious. I had an opportunity to turn pro. I turned it down. I started cross training with this guy. His name is Samuel Braga. He's a over 10-time black belt world champion. And some of those are the masters divisions as well. He
Mhm.
created the Barabolo. He's got a huge name. He's like, I believe still he's like the center of evolution for the sport. And he's only 2 hours away from my hometown in Bristol.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, super lucky. I don't know why he landed in Knoxville, Tennessee, but he did. And he was able to win an adult world championship starting a school from scratch down there. So I met him and we just hit it off. He took me and my brother in like we were his own sons.
Hmm.
And I still owe the world to this guy. And he had so many athletes under him that we looked up to. So we started cross training there more because it's just a pure jiu-jitsu school. The school I started out was like a MMA school, right? So we wanted to literally soak in jiu-jitsu, learn the spider guard, learn the daily hiva, learn the barambolos, learn all of this crazy jiu-jitsu stuff we had no exposure to. We
Yeah.
started training in Knoxville like every chance we get. We'd go down on a Friday and spend the whole weekend. We'd skip class and go train on a Wednesday. Like you name it, we had the jiu-jitsu bug through and through. If we weren't training, we were studying. If we weren't studying, we were sleeping or eating. And that's like all of our life, even through college. I
Mm-hmm.
actually taught my brother, who's I still think he's one of the best black belts in the world. I talked him into training 5 years after I started. He was a basketball player.
Oh,
He had no interest in jiu-jitsu whatsoever.
did he play in
So
college or?
yeah, he did play for a year in college, and then
Yeah.
yeah, after that, I think he started doing jujitsu, which completely
Mhm.
changed his life, and he'll be the first one to tell you that. Um, so after getting to know the guys in Knoxville and getting exposure to like what a jiu-jitsu team is supposed to look like, I was uh I was kind of at a crossroads, right? Like I didn't really know. I couldn't find the jiu-jitsu I wanted here in my hometown. And I was willing to travel and sleep in vans and do all that kind of stuff. Like I was basically what do they call rock climbers who just live out of their van that just want to rock climb? I can't remember the name.
Gypsy. I don't know.
I was basically a jujitsu bum.
Yeah. Yeah.
I remember I was sleeping in the locker room in Knoxville, and one of the guys came in. I think he was helping clean the gym, and he said, "Logan," I said, "Hey, what's up, buddy?" He said, "Are you sleeping in the locker room?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm just
Yeah.
trying to get a rest before the next session." He's like, "Damn, you really must want to be a world champion, don't you?" And I never thought about it like that. I was just doing what I
Yeah.
loved. And after he left, I was like, huh, I guess I am doing something a little bit different with my
Yeah.
life, aren't I? Not that I'm
Different.
regretting it at all, but this is a little bit out of like what anybody else would do. Like you have to think my parents, my grandparents, my family, they were all saying, no, don't, you shouldn't. There's no future. Why? Like really
Yeah.
think about what you're doing now. Man, my life is I said God has a plan for me. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna stick with my passion because it's the only thing I could think about. No girlfriend at the time, no job, no nothing, no bills. I went from iPhone to a flip phone or like a slider phone that was like $10 a month. No internet, no nothing. All right, let's move on. So,
Yeah, but
I was going,
anybody in their life, if they're feeling that, they should pursue it
yeah,
at that point. As long as it's not affecting someone else negatively, you know,
for sure.
because
Yep. Uh-huh.
that might be your window or your chance right then to fulfill that in your life, and you might
Yep.
not have that chance later. You might have kids, whatever,
Yep.
whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if
Yeah.
you're feeling that strongly about something, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I had to. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. It didn't matter. It was almost like thinking about it now, I was like a drug addict before jujitsu. You know, now it is. I'm 35 years old. I have to worry about if I can walk out of practice because I might throw my back out or re-injure my knee. But back
Mhm.
then, I was just train, not even take a shower and go back and train again. I was just I was 21 to 26 living that life, and it's just like,
Mm.
so here's an interesting story too. This kind of had a huge impact in my life. So I was, I had been out to California to train and do the thing, right? We went to AOJ a few times. We went all around with San Diego, LA area. And I
Mm.
knew I was like, I'm gonna move to California. Right? I'm gonna move to California. I was working a full-time job. I had like $15,000 saved up in my savings account. Mind you, I was living at home. I didn't have a car payment. I didn't have like crazy payments. I was just able to just keep putting money in my back pocket. I was also wheeling and dealing dirt bikes, like just trying to save up for a California trip. So I was scrolling Instagram and I saw this opportunity online from Atos and San Diego HQ with Andre and Keenan and JT and Andres Bernovskis and Michael Liera and all the who's who in jiu-jitsu. It's like
Mm.
what B Team or Simple Man is now. Back in 2014, 15, Team Atos was that, right? And we weren't doing no gi, we were only doing gi.
Good.
So that was the main focus of this time. So on Instagram, the Team Atos had posted, "Are you interested in training with us for a Pan Am camp? If so, please register here." So I just called the guys, like, "Hey, you guys take anybody from any teams?" Like, "Yeah." I said, "So
Mm.
how do I do it?" They said, "Send us half of the total amount to reserve your spot, buy your plane ticket out, and get here in 2 days. It starts." And I was making a
Okay.
delivery up in like backwoods Kentucky somewhere.
Okay.
So I said, "All right, give me just a moment. Let my bank call you guys, and I'll wire you whatever it was, like $1,000, $1,500." This included lodging, camp, everything, breakfast, transportation. So it's kind of a killer deal. And 2 days later, I was in San Diego. I didn't know a soul. I didn't know anybody. Nobody had ever seen me. They didn't know me from Adam. And I just took a leap of faith. And we essentially lived in like this ultimate fighter house, but for jujitsu athletes.
And
And
how long was it for? Like how
I
long
think
was
this was
the
like 3 to 4 months, something like that.
Okay. Okay.
I had never been away to college. I'd never done that thing. Like if I stayed
Yeah.
away from the house, it was like maybe for a few nights. I had never made a huge commitment like this in my life. So even though
Yeah.
I was 24 and most people are adulting by this age, I was like always slow to grow. I was
Yeah.
like very slow to do the thing. Scared of risk, but willing enough to just say, screw it, whatever."
Yeah.
So that experience right there probably like it really made me grow up. I remember being in the airplane, looking beside me, thinking about my twin brother who should be going out here with me, but he's working a full-time job. He didn't want to commit like I did. And I just
Mhm.
start crying and knowing that I'm not going to see him for like 5 months. I just like literally start crying. And we didn't even
Yeah.
leave the runway of the Tri-Cities. Like we were still sitting there. And I just couldn't control
Yeah.
my emotions. But um we had a great time. We trained like dogs. And it really opened me up to how big the world is and how gracious
Mm.
people were too. I made some great friends. I had a killer roommate. I'm so lucky that I had this guy, Andrew McDonald. Extremely fascinating person. He was a Canadian but owned a gym in Bangkok, Thailand. And
Mhm.
so we had some good hangout times and we had some hard training times, and it was just my boy. So then I came back to Bristol didn't really have a plan after this. I bombed out first round at Pan Am's, all that training for get beat first round, whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Uh, and then I moved to Knoxville. I wasn't living in Knoxville at this time, but I moved to Knoxville to train with Samuel. And then I gave about a year and a half of my life to training full time. At this point in time, my brother came with me. So we had a little apartment for like $400 a month. It had black mold on it. We were sleeping on mattresses on the floor. We had all these. Oh, you want to talk about the best support system I've ever had in my life is those guys from Knoxville. They were giving us couches. They were spotting us dinners. They were just doing so many things just because they liked us and believed in our pursuit. Right. And a lot of these guys
Yeah,
were wealthy business owners, financial advisors, and they were just on our side 1,000%. Something that me and Taylor, my brother, had never experienced ever a day in our lives is somebody
yeah,
authentically being on our side. So that was super fun. Then I came back to Bristol after the year. I know I'm taking a long time, but my story is a good one, I
yeah. It
think.
is. It is.
Moved back to Bristol. I had two options. Well, we had two options. Either A, go back to the gym, kind of banned, right, from moving out to California, kind of like banned me for uh going out on that. It's kind of a weird situation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure.
Um, so I could either like go train at this gym or start my own thing. And I, I couldn't imagine going back to the old gym, even though I had a lot of great buddies and the utmost respect. I just couldn't imagine that. So I just started Bristol Jiu-Jitsu, and since then it's just been, I mean, it's been
Yeah.
a roller coaster of a ride. It's been a wild ride. I was able to buy a 6,000 square foot building just off of those few short years in business here in downtown Bristol. I have two gyms. In one building, I have two people on payroll. We have packed classes 6 a.m. through 6 p.m. Parking lot. Sometimes you can't even find a spot. We're
Mm.
just, it's like it's something that's not supposed to work, but working so well. I don't get it. Like full-time jiu-jitsu is not supposed to be a career, and then supporting another person's family to bring them on payroll is also not supposed to happen in a small town of Bristol. But hey, here
Mm.
we are. It's happening, and I do
Mm.
believe that this is what happens when good people do good things. That's my story
Yeah, yeah, man. That's a good point. Let's hit on right now. What's the culture like there?
here at Bristol Jiu-Jitsu.
Yes. Tell me
Okay,
what makes it a
so
little different. Yeah.
for sure. So
Or
I
special.
I,
Yeah.
I, I train a lot of places coming up through the ranks. And I always like to take the best pieces that I saw from other places, right?
Yeah.
I can remember my coach Samuel Braga meeting a guy for the first time and then us all going out to lunch with each other, right? This guy's not a
Mhm.
blue belt. He's not even good at jiu-jitsu, but he's like, cool, right? There's nothing wrong with that. The gym I had started at was like, no, if I remember inviting a white belt to a UFC party and I got in trouble for inviting the white belt to be UFC. Bro, he's just a white belt. You can't have this guy over. What are you thinking, Logan? I'm on a podcast now. So
Oh,
my main thing with culture is that everybody's able to come in here and express themselves freely.
okay.
And it's as simple as that. There should be, you walk into this gym and it's not my home, it's everybody's home. You
Yeah.
have as much ownership on this place as I do, right?
Yeah.
And our job is to make each and every single person on the mats feel like it's their home as well. Whether it's your first day or you're a black belt for 10 years, it doesn't matter. Everybody has that responsibility and everybody treats each other equally.
Yeah. Looking back, what has jujitsu done for your life? What's the biggest thing that it's added
Oh
to your
man,
life?
I've been so blessed, and I often ask myself, like, why have I been so blessed? It's given me just opportunity. And it's not going to come to everybody because some people aren't going to be as hard nosed about it as I am, right? Like I said,
Sure.
I'm not a superstar jiu-jitsu athlete. I consider myself to be pretty good at it, but like I'm not a J Rod or
But you pursued
I
it,
don't know.
right?
I
Maybe that's the
pursued
difference.
it harder, if not harder, than anybody else when it wasn't a thing, right?
Yeah.
When there was no grand prize at the end of the road, like, but it was my pursuit.
Mm.
What it has given me is just life. It's given me friendships and networks and support systems and financial means of supporting myself. Right?
Mm.
It's given me the ability to buy a house and buy the car I want and buy the toys and to raise a family. But it's given me life, love, laughter, sadness, anger, resentment, challenges, fitness. I mean, you
Yeah.
couldn't, I don't think, there's anything in the world that can give you so many useful, valuable skills. Some of my best friends come to this gym every single day, and I get happy. It's Christmas morning almost every single morning for the 11 a.m. class and 6 a.m. class. I absolutely love those classes. If I could, I would only do those classes, and I would hang out with my best friends every single day, and I would make a paycheck.
Let me ask you this. If a kid's mom or dad came to you and asked you, what can jujitsu provide my kid that a lot of other sports can't provide? What would you tell them?
That's a good question. I would say the main thing that it provides is network and community, and I would say it's gonna provide a lot of things in your life. The best way to understand this is actually for you to train yourself at sea. But I would say
Mhm.
it's gonna give you hope, because I think a lot of scholarly sports, they give you hope, but it's taken away. Right? They give you the belief that you're gonna get a scholarship, you're gonna go pro. Trust me, it's happening in my own family. And then they realize this world's a big place,
Mm.
right? But like in jujitsu, you can do this
For the
until
rest of your
you're
life. Yeah.
for the rest of your life. And I think that's the main thing it would give. I'd say like what it's going to give you is going to take time, but everything in life that's worth having is not going to be easy, and it will take time to get those things that are valuable.
Right.
And I would say we have this conversation all of the time. All the time. Why? How come Johnny wants to play football instead of doing jujitsu? Well, he doesn't understand the real value in jujitsu right now, and he's not supposed to.
Okay.
You
Right.
know,
Yeah, that makes
that's what
sense.
I was saying. Yeah. And
So,
and obviously you can go pro at it now, right? That's another thing.
yeah,
You
yeah.
can go pro at it. You can make money at doing this. You could choose to open an academy doing this. Like you could be a business owner, an entrepreneur. There's so many avenues now that you can do something with it, getting into it as a young kid.
You
And
can get into
you
MMA
know,
through it. Yeah.
yeah, you can get into MMA through it. We don't even advertise that, because that's like just something that I wouldn't try to push anybody towards MMA, not unless,
Mhm.
the special type person. Um, but I think it's a special thing for a young man or woman to see, like a young boy or girl to see in jujitsu, is that their coach is not. A lot of the coaches in jiu-jitsu are still actively competing, where like a wrestling coach, you're never going to see compete or even train for that fact, or like a basketball coach, you're never going to see like run the play, or football coaches.
Yeah, yeah.
I playing football, I never saw my coach do anything active except sit there and chew tobacco.
Yeah, yeah.
But like like coaching staff in jiu-jitsu, they're going to be active, they're going to be there training with you, they're going to practice what they preach, and I
That's
think that
right.
goes a long way. Yeah,
Yeah, that is unique. Okay, man. Well, thank you so much for your cool story. Thank you for
yeah,
explaining
man,
everything. Yeah, I'm sure it's going to
absolutely.
do some good, man. Just to close out, is there anything that you'd like to tell your community there at Bristol Jiu-Jitsu?
Well, if it's my community watching, they all know I'm a crazy and sporadic guy, and I've probably said enough to each and every single one of them. But with nothing but love and uh, thankfulness from the bottom of my heart, and keep sticking to jujitsu, because you might it might be hard to walk through the doors, but you'll never regret walking out of the doors after class. So
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
just stay true to yourself and keep working hard, then great things can happen in any facet in life.
Mm. All right, man. Thank you so much. All right. I really
Yeah,
appreciate it.
thank you, Cody. I appreciate your time today, brother.
Yeah, 100%. I hope you have a good day, buddy. Okay.
You as well. Thank you so
All right.
much.
See you, bud. Hey, PJ, how's it going today? You doing all right?
I'm peachy. I'm always
You're peachy.
peachy. Yeah. Just everywhere I go,
That's
I'm
what I call
peachy.
my daughter, man. Peachy.
Nice. Yeah. Let's
What's
say
her
it.
nickname?
It's a weird
Good.
word down here. I'm not from here. I'm in South Carolina. So like peachy can be really sarcastic or can mean just peachy, you know? So I use it
Mm.
as peachy. I'm always good. I live a great life. So
That's good, man. That's good. All about mindset, 100%. Are you at the academy right now? Or
yeah, I am. This is my office.
like you're in the office there, right? Yeah.
It's barely air conditioned. The training room's not. You see the training room on my security monitor here. It's
Yeah, I see it.
we don't have any air conditioning in there. So I tried to do it in there and I was sweating. So I figured I'd come to my office where there's a little bit more relief, but even still, it's like we keep it
Yeah.
hot.
Better to be comfortable, I guess, for a podcast. So, can you tell everybody your first and last name, and tell us the name of the place and where you guys are? And
Sure.
then you can talk about kind of what you guys do there. You can talk about the schedule if you like. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Well, my name's Patrick Higgins. I go by PJ. We are in Anderson, South Carolina, and we are a Renzo Gracie Jiu-Jitsu Academy. And my little tagline underneath there is Thunderdome Jiu-Jitsu. That's what my business name is. That was my nickname, going on about 15 years. They started taunting me with the Thunderdome antics, and we
What is that?
specialize in
Thunderdome? Thunderdome?
Thunderdome. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So when I first started, I would declare a 2-foot radius around me, the Thunderdome. And as the higher
Oh,
belts there get in this radius, I would attack them. And they'd usually put me down pretty easily, but they would start taunting
Thunderdome.
me,
That's funny, man.
one
Yeah,
toe in, one toe out, and Thunderdome, Thunderdome. So they just started calling me the Thunderdome.
that's funny. That's
Uh,
funny.
but yeah, we only do jujitsu, gi and no gi. We do it 7 days a week. We do a kids program from say about 4 years old to 14, middle school. Once they get to high school, we go to the adults. But, the main focus in the kids program is be able to hold another kid down and don't let another kid hold you down. Everything else kind of chains off of that. So, um, we like jujitsu and that's
Yeah.
what we specialize in. And, I have competitors, I compete, but ultimately we're playing a game. We're hobbyists and, you're trying to tap me. I'm trying to tap you. Right now, you and I would be 50-50. It's pretty neutral. You're not
Mm.
tapping me out and I'm not tapping you out. So we'd consider this even right now.
What about where are you guys in South Carolina?
So we're in what we call the upstate. We're near Clemson University, sort of this lakes mountainous region. There's like 3 good sized lakes in succession around here. The one near us is called Lake Hartwell. They do Bass Masters there. And it's one of the reasons I actually found this place. I was looking for lake houses in a price range and I
Okay.
couldn't afford the lake. I don't have a lake house. But it kind of brought our attention to this area. I'm originally from Massachusetts. I got my black belt at Renzo Gracie in Rhode Island.
Yeah, yeah. Talk about Renzo Gracie, being affiliated or being under him, or what is that like, or how does that work? Anything like that?
Well, it's great. Ultimately, I moved to an area where I didn't know anyone, and it just gave me credibility. When you walk
Yeah,
through the door, my jujitsu still had to speak for itself,
yeah,
and so I had to really kind of pushed my weight around when I first got here. But now we've
yeah.
been here 5 years and, people know my jujitsu and they know the brand. So it still helps. And, I very happily write that check for those affiliate fees because like I said, I moved to an area where I knew nobody. I had no connections, no
Mm.
family, just kind of blindly found it and said, I'm going to go here. So having that affiliation really meant the world to me. Still does.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
Um, Tell us about your philosophy in teaching jujitsu, kind of the way you go about it. Do you have any kind of methodology, anything like that?
Yeah, ultimately we keep it fun. If it's not fun, I'm not going to
Yeah.
maintain members. When I first opened up,
Like
I
for
was really
adults too, right?
adults, kids, everyone. It
Yeah.
has to be fun. So, I don't take it too seriously. I mean, I take it very seriously. It's my job, right? I love it and I have a lot of happy members, but the culture here is kind of second to none. I get visitors all the time and they're always
Mhm.
commending the culture we have here. And again, when I get arrested, I'm like, oh, it's just like wrestling, except I'm not mean. I don't yell at the guys. I don't yell at the kids. I don't make my adults run. The kids have to run a little bit for their warm ups. And even the adult warm up, we took it away for a while, but they
Oh,
wanted
really?
it. They liked it. Yeah, they like it. It's fun to get out of your car, leave your work day and whatever's out there.
Yeah.
And you start off with a few shoulder rolls. It just kind of gets you out of that headset of out there to in here. I also wasn't teaching
Yeah.
warm ups, so I'd have students go to other schools and train, and they'd be like, "Do a shrimp," and the warm. My guys wouldn't know the vernacular shrimp, so that could be a little embarrassing. And I did warm ups, hard warm ups, hard warm ups, hard warm ups. Then I completely ditched the warm ups for like a year, and then we went back to just a very small warm up. My warm ups used to be, I mean, we had my first location. We were there 2 years, 24 months, and we counted the throw ups. We had 37 people puke. We'd get a new guy
Mhm.
in. We'd, we'd
Wow.
run for almost a mile, and then you'd go right into a front shoulder roll, back shoulder roll. And these guys are coming off the wall like ready to die. And
Yeah.
if you've never trained before, adrenaline it's a thing, and people don't understand adrenaline and emotional control and that sort of thing. So they really think they're getting strangled. Their body doesn't know that as soon as they tap, it's over. And
Mm.
they'd get that buildup and they'd throw up. And we started keeping tallies. And if you go to my Instagram, right around 10 tallies, we started to develop a process. We've only puked like in 3.5 years here, like 15 people. It's not a lot, you know.
Okay.
And some of
Kind
my
of
best
measure it by
students,
that, right? That's funny.
some of my best students, yeah, the guys from the old location say I've grown soft, and maybe I have. I want members, I want customers, I want good students, I want people showing up to train. And when you make it miserable, you really do weed out people. Now you get a room that's tough as nails.
Yeah, yeah.
But I feel like we can have the nice blend, and I have plenty of guys that are tough and they can go do cardio on their own. And when we're in here, we train hard. I mean, don't get me wrong, we're a tough gym, but at the end of the day, we keep it fun. And but yeah, go to my Instagram, look at the tallies. Right around 10, we started keeping track, and all the way up through, I think we're at like 54 total vomits in 5 years. So the average has gone way down since we moved over here. But for better or worse, we're a more fun gym than we were, and maybe we're not as tough, but we still compete. We're still tough, and we still have good games. So that's all that matters.
Okay. So you try to like ride that line as far as being like as comfortable and fun as possible without, yeah. Cool.
Yeah, I mean, some guys are coming in looking for a fight, and we'll give it to them. I have an open invite. If you come here, I'm gonna go with you. Unless like I train that morning. I mean, I'm old, so. But if you're a black belt, you want to come check me? Come check it. It's a real black belt.
Awesome. Can you tell us, how you got into jujitsu and why you loved it? Just tell us all the story of from beginning to where you are now.
Yeah, I mean, it goes way back. I've always been relatively athletic, but I was always big. I was always kind of like heavy. Even when I played back in the day, I was born in the 1900s, the 1970s even. And when I was playing football as a kid,
We're
it was all
lucky.
by
We're
weight.
lucky we get this. I was born in the 80s. We're lucky we get to say it. Sometimes I think about that. It's like somebody saying they're born in the 1800s, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was born in 77. I'm 49. I turned 50 on my next birthday. And when I was in middle school to play like Pop Warner football, tackle football, they put you on that scale every week. So I always had to play with kids a grade older than me, or even 2 grades older than me, because I was always heavy. I mean, I was on like a slim fast diet in 6th grade, liquid lunch and stuff. And it was always hard to lose weight. So as I got to college, I even became more self-destructive. I gained more weight. I mean, I'm a former 300-pound guy. And I had a son in 2004, and I was still big. I wasn't 300 pounds by any means at that point. I was probably in the 260s, 270 range. And I just did not want to be a fat dad anymore. And I like invented the Peloton. I got on the recumbent bike, the kind that you're pedaling like this, sitting down. And I put it in front of like The Sopranos first. Then I watched The Wire, and I would do like a half hour
Yeah.
to an hour to clip. And then I started playing video games. So I was playing Halo and Call of Duty as I pedaled. And I made a goal, and I did it every day for 1 year after Thanksgiving.
Wow.
Full. I got on that thing at 9. I'd get on that thing at like 9 p.m. every night. When my day was done, my child was in bed. I was a single dad since he was like 2. And I just, right around that point, just major life changes. Single dad, let's lose some weight. And I had a friend who started doing MMA in 2005 at this gym called US MMA. And he was trying to get me in all the time. We'd always, joke around in the parking lot. We'd go out, have drinks. And I was always kind of agile, even for my size. And once I got down to like 220 pounds, it's 2007, 2008, I finally, from 2007 to 2008, I lost the weight. And in 2008, in the fall, I walked into a jiu-jitsu gym. It was Muay Thai, cardio fitness, really. I mean, it was heavy bags, knees, push-ups. And then like down the middle, there were like 3 sparring sections. One, you're hitting focus mitts. The other one's Thai pads. And the last one, you're sparring like a really good guy, or for our gym, a really good guy. For 2008, a really good guy. And he would just kind of pepper you lightly, and you'd be taking cracks at him, and he'd just kind of just pepper you. And after that, I was forced with a decision: sign a year contract and continue it, or I don't know, go buy a motorcycle. I ended up doing both, but I started with the contract. I signed a year deal, and because I signed a year, for better or worse, I was in it. I did not skip. I started doing the Thai fitness. I got into jujitsu. They had yoga, and I just excelled at jujitsu. I'm like crazy flexible. Like, my legs will just kind of like keep going. So I was just triangling
Like, I'm
everyone
in
right off the
pain
rip.
looking at that. Oh my gosh.
I was triangling people right off the rip. I started competing right away and just, had a moderate successful run when I first started. And this is, again, 2008, 2009, 2010. And then after that, I kind of just fell in love. I could do it 6 days a week. Staying in shape was no problem. I was at that gym for a couple of years. Then I had to move. So I went to a new one, and these guys had a gi. So I went from doing only no gi to doing gi and no gi. And I mean, I was put to sleep with a baseball bat my first night, collar choke. Hey, I'm a tough guy. I've been training 2 years, and I'm going to pass this guy's guard, no problem. And right out, cool. So you learn quick. There's a difference. You should do both.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. I mean, what was it like? What was your thoughts when you first started, with the gi?
Yeah,
Did
like
you miss, gi? I mean,
most
which
people
one
that
did you
start
like
in no
more? What was
gi.
the difference?
Yeah, I mean, I like them both. I like gi a little more now because I'm older. I can slow guys down, but the game's really evolved
Yeah.
more towards no gi. So I love no gi too. I do a ton of both of them. We're 50-50 here. We split it right down the middle. But like most people, when you're good at no gi, you don't like gi. The wrestlers that come in, they don't like
Oh,
it. You
okay.
can grab them and slow them down and sort of force somebody into your game, where no gi, it's a little harder to do that. So, but I love them both.
Mm-hmm.
I train them both. I still train, 30 to 35 hours a month. We log it all here. We have an app. It's really neat.
Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, what was the progression there over the years? Like, I mean, did you start teaching somewhere? And how did you start to
Yeah.
think about opening your own place? How did that come about?
Yeah. I fell in love with this, for better or worse. I always wanted to do this. And I went from US MMA for 2 years. I went to a place called Connors MMA. When I was a purple belt there, I met my black belt instructor. His name is Professor Marcelo Cruz, um, from Brazil. He was guest teaching at that first gym. And eventually in 2017, he opened Renzo, Gracie, Rhode Island. I was already enrolled at Connors MMA now for, 6 years, 7 years at this point. I had gotten my purple belt there, started training with Marcelo, and I was starting to teach at Connors MMA. And I got my brown belt from John Connors and kind of had one foot on either side of this two gym fence, which
Mm,
some places allow it, some places don't.
mm,
Ultimately, I made the decision. This guy Marcelo, and John Connors is a great coach, and I love him, and I still talk to him and those guys. But nobody ever held me down like Marcelo did, Professor Cello. And I just kind of needed to learn that part of that pressure game. And ultimately, I knew I wanted to move somewhere where I didn't know anyone. And, being part of a Henzo team, I felt would make that easier if I did want to ever open
yeah.
my own gym. My original plan was not even yet, another 5 years from now, at 55, retire from like a career with enough money to go move somewhere in Central America, even where I didn't know a
Okay.
language and I didn't know a soul. So I always wanted an affiliation for that credibility.
Yeah.
And I was going to move somewhere to learn a new language and just live near a beach where there was no jujitsu already, where I didn't need the money. But something like COVID kind of really accelerated that. So in 2017, we opened up Renzo, Gracie, Rhode Island. By 2018, I was there full time because I really just dove into this pressure game. And December of 2020, I got my black belt. In May of 21, I had my first session down here. So I got my black belt in December. If you remember, COVID hit March of 2020. By March of
Yeah.
21, I had sold my house. New England was brutal during COVID, and
Mm,
the Liberty guy, I didn't sit well with
yeah.
me how people acted there. And then not being able to travel freely really kind of nixed my idea of leaving the country. So I wanted to live in a warm climate. My wife and I kind of drew a band around like northern Florida,
Yeah.
Texas,
Yeah.
right above like where the gators can live. So like what they call them cold water lakes. We had heard of Clemson and we said, we're going to move to Clemson. And we did a recon trip in February, signed a lease here. Went home, listed my house, sold my house, and by May we had opened up. We went on a couple of our work vacations and built out a gym. And then we just we didn't tell anyone we were doing this. We told our immediate family, but we didn't tell our jobs. We didn't tell our friends. We just kind of built something in silence. And then we're like,
Okay.
guess what? Hey, we're moving. I lived here for 44 years. I'm leaving, and we did. And we've been here 5 years now and have a great community, a great culture, and no regrets. I had a great job. I had a sales career for 20 years. I did. I worked 20 hours a week. I made,
Okay.
made really good money. And now I'm broke and I love what I do too. I love what I did then. I loved it. I mean, I was working 20 hours a week, training as much jujitsu, taking vacations, and now I work 7 days a week. I work way harder. It's harder to ask you for your money than it is to ask you for your company's money. And
Yeah.
I have to earn it every month. We don't do contracts, so I'm in there earning it month to month, and it's a challenge. It's people think it's just easy to open a gym. You just need to know jujitsu, and it's not that. There's a lot more to it. So I love that
Mhm.
part of it too. Don't get me wrong. I'm probably a blue belt at owning the gym, and I need to improve.
I mean, looking back, what do you think the biggest thing that jujitsu has provided you in your life over the last several years?
I guess just peace.
Peace. Okay.
It's always provided me peace. And that's one of the
Why
things
is
about
that?
moving
Yeah.
down. What's that?
Why is that? Why do you think that?
I don't know.
Have
I
you ever thought of that?
Well, I was a self-destructive guy. I didn't live the best and cleanest life once I got to college and through my 20s. I don't know. I was just angry. And, having a
Okay.
child puts a lot of that in perspective. Seeking out professional help for a few years put a lot of other things in perspective with my family. And I came from a great family. My parents are married. I talked to my siblings. I'm the middle child, which may have been part of it. But I was just off the rails for no good reason other than, I guess, rebellion or just do the opposite of what was right. It was kind of the way I lived my life for a little bit. And jujitsu
Mm,
kept me on track. It was the one workout I could do that I never got bored of. And still to this day,
mm.
I'm not bored. I'm still learning. I'm still trying to improve my jujitsu. I'm still trying to be better. And it's given me peace through like the ability to be rational, the ability to analyze, self reflect. I'm not perfect, but, I strive mastery as a male. This stuff's in our DNA. And just
Sure. Yeah.
fighting and, you know, putting yourself out there in these tournaments and even just with someone that you may think's better than you, even on the training mats it's humbling, but the peace just comes through like the ability to know that I'm in control as long as I'm in control, right? When there's things that are out of my control, I don't worry
Yeah.
about it anymore. I can't. It's not in my control. I can just react how I do. And with jujitsu, the ability to think and problem solve and stress manage, it just pays dividends everywhere else in my life. So I just am at peace. My wife and I have a great relationship. Our son's 22. He lives with us. We got a great relationship with him. He's a good roommate at this point. That's all I ask him to be. He doesn't have to train. He doesn't have to do really anything. He's got to cover his night. He's got to pay his bills. But, these kids are, you know, they don't have it easy either. And I didn't have it easy. It was a struggle the whole way. I had to earn my jobs and I had to do resumes and nothing was handed to me. And this wasn't either. I had to come down here and stake my flag in the ground. I moved to a town that already had two gyms in it. And I said, I'm coming and I'll either make it or I'll set myself up where I could go get a job as a line cook. So, we did very,
Mm.
very well selling our house. Again, I had a successful career for 20 years. So we had a little bit of a nest egg. That's all gone. Believe me, it costs a lot of money
Okay.
to open a gym. But I moved, my timing was proper. I got down here on a low interest rate. I got down here before the housing boom down here. I sold during the housing boom up there. So we were able to put a lot down on a house, have a very manageable mortgage. I was able to fund the gym, self-funded, so no debt or no loans. And we just parlay it. We're starting to already look at new places for our next gym. We have 2 years left at this location, but if you're not, skating to the puck, you're behind it, and we don't ever really want to be behind it.
So, what do you feel like you're like kind of providing people in the community there with jujitsu?
I guess just kind of the same kind of thing, like a fun environment. This isn't for everyone. I tell people on the phone, we do an evaluation. You evaluate us, we evaluate you. We don't want everyone on our team. And we're not everyone's cup of tea. There's a disco ball. I don't know if you can see it. There's a disco ball hanging up there.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a lot of fun. We're not everyone's cup of tea, but what we do provide is a very safe environment. I train most of my hours during the day in a small room. At night when the room's packed, I have to curate it. Doesn't mean I micromanage everything you do in here, but when we're all lined up and we're going through lines, I'm telling you to go with this guy, you to go with that guy, you to go here, you go to there. We're mindful of how we wrestle. We have a tap verbal philosophy. Tap. There's no shame. So I provide a very
Okay.
safe. I'm a pro. My place is immaculate. I don't know if you can see it, but on these
Yeah.
mats here, they're elevated. There's springs underneath. So I wanted to learn how to wrestle at 48 years old,
Okay.
and I didn't want to hit the ground hard. So, I provide a safe, fun environment for people that want to train jujitsu to learn it. And we also have an environment when it's not for you or it's not right for you, you get to leave. We don't shame you for leaving. We still want to be your friends when you leave. We want you to come back. I have a free open mat on Saturdays. So even guys that quit, if they just want to come on Saturdays, cool in the gang, man. I don't care. So we provide it's the environment. My environment is what you're paying for. I'm a good teacher. I get a lot of compliments. I get texts. I've gotten letters from students. I've had guys come in for a summer. Maybe they're doing something around here and then they go back to their school and they write me. And we're different here, man. We are not the normal jiu-jitsu gym. And it's hard for me to say it. I can boast about it easy because it's mine. But when people come here, they love it here. I mean, they really do.
I mean, it sounds like you're creating the same atmosphere that did something for you, or the same kind of thing that jujitsu provided you was peace. So
Yeah.
you sounds like you're trying to create
I
that
don't know
same
that I
culture
had true
there.
peace until I had my own spot. You know what I mean? I mean, I found peace through jujitsu, peace through that strength, but there's a lot of hard times too. So I was able to
Yeah,
filter out all the things I didn't like about different environments, and I'm not going to elaborate too hard on it, and different cultures
yeah,
that I've been in. So ultimately, the culture here is really second to none. It's a real freedom of choice. I don't care if you're late. It's none of my business. I don't care if you have to leave early. I'd appreciate it if you tell me, mainly because I may have something for you, or I may have something fun at the end of class that I think you should be involved in. So if I know you got to leave 10 minutes early, maybe I'll start it earlier. It's not because it's like, oh, you owe me. Oh, you're interrupting my class. My classes they're dialogues. And they used to not be at the old gym. I would have a student ask a question when I'm teaching a lesson. I'm showing you this beautiful choreography. This is a monologue. This is not a dialogue. I would say to them, I'm embarrassed. It's a dialogue, man. It's
that's
it's
cool,
an
man.
open forum dialogue. I may not answer it. I may not have an answer. The answer may come out through class. But ultimately, I look at myself as a peer in here. They look at me as a leader. They look at me as their coach, but there's a lot I don't know about jujitsu. There's a lot of people that can tap me out. I'm very good. I'm a very good black belt. But I'm not world class. I haven't, I like to think of myself as very good. And when I go and I travel and I do fine against the black belts out there or the black belts that visit, it solidifies where I'm at. I'm confident and comfortable in my level, but I just got smoked at the PGF this last weekend by a 20-year-old leg
You
locker.
did.
And I was ticked. I got that mat ticked. He caught me. He's 20. Then he went 5-0 and leg locked everyone and won the tournament. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I guess my match aged a little better than I felt it did, but hey, I want to go do it again. And I'm 50 years old, and these guys are all in their 20s. And I compete with them. That's why I'm going to go do it, because I felt like I competed fine, and I feel like I want to win. I want to win at that level. So I'm going to go for it and keep doing it. So
maybe positivity is a better word than peace as far as the atmosphere you're trying to create there.
my
Positivity.
atmosphere is
Yeah.
positive. I personally take peace from it, but not everybody. I assume a lot of people do, but it's peace through violence. Like
Yeah.
it's peace because you
Well,
left.
it's a hobby, no matter what you're
You
doing,
left,
it's a
and now
hobby
it's
in that
peaceful out
itself,
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ultimately, we are hobbyists in here. We compete, but where are we competing at? if we get talent that we can nurture and take to the next level, we will. But if you really want to be a professional jiu-jitsu guy, go train at Kingsway, go train, at one of those elite academies. But if you're in Anderson, South Carolina, or the surrounding, like 35 minutes, you're not going to find a nicer gym than mine. You're not going to find a better culture than mine. You may find one that suits you better. But if you're like us and you're someone that just is like looking to have fun and you want to hang out, we hang out on the mats till like 2 p.m. on open mat days. We train from 10:30 to noon, 12:30, and we're sitting around. The last guys are peeling off the mats at 2 p.m., because we're finally starving. We finally will leave.
Yeah.
Or we'll just all run back to my house and we'll go to the pool. Like, we have that kind of culture. It's fun.
Yeah.
We do a lot of events. We've done karaoke nights. We did a prom, like, where everyone had to dress up and come train.
Oh, really?
I keep my pool open year round. So New Year's Day, we go do a polar plunge at my house, things like that. Like, I train all the holidays. I'm open. I don't close. I do this 7 days a week. I used to have Friday nights off. I used to have Sundays off. And now it's like, this is where I want to be. So if you look at my GPS, it's like my house, the gym, my house, the gym, my house. The gym. I can tell you how many miles I drive a year just through math.
Well, and in closing, would you like to say something to the people who go there? Any kind of message for them?
Thank you. You guys are the best. I mean, you make my life easy. I tell them that every day, though, so they don't need to hear it. They know. And everyone else, follow me on Instagram. I used to have an account with like 3,500 followers. Then I got hacked, and I told everyone to report it, and they did. And then they deactivate it, and there's no recourse. So I'm trying to build followers. I'm at 300. I started at 375, and I'm on a quest to 1,000. And I was supposed to have 1,000 by the end of this week, and I got like 60. So thanks to those 60. To the 8 that unfollowed me, though, they're getting a big thumbs down. Yeah.
So
Hey, people
Instagram
unfollowed
didn't
me.
figure it out, huh? They didn't fix it?
No. I even went
Okay.
verified so I could talk to someone, and they're like, well, TS, tethered swimming for you.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't care.
Well, such is life. Okay. Move on. Whatever.
Life. Yeah.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much for all your story, man, for what you're doing for the community there. You guys are the
I like
fun
what you're
gym.
up to, too.
Everybody has a
go tell
different
those
vibe.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, jiu-jitsu saved my life. I'm one of those guys. I used to be a big fatty, and
Yeah.
now I'm a beast.
1,000%.
And jiu-jitsu did it.
Not
It's all
that
through
anymore.
jiu-jitsu. I owe it.
Skinny
Yeah.
dude. All right, man. I hope you have a good day, man. Thank you so much. Right?
You too, man.
I had
Thanks
fun.
for having me.
All right.
We'll see
Bye,
you.
PJ.